Hi everyone, and welcome to this second season of Behind Your Eyes. For this third episode, I have Regina here with me. Hi Regina, would you like to introduce yourself to everyone?
Hi, yes, absolutely. So my name is Regina Patane. I am currently based in New York. I've been in the health and well-being industry since 2006. I got into it because I wanted to fix my own health problems. The medicals weren't really very helpful, and fell in love with basically just learning about the human body. And I am still learning. I don't think I'll ever stop learning about the human body. So I work as a health and life coach, an NLP practitioner, a clinical hypnotherapist, as well as a biodynamic craniosacral therapist. So I combine all these modalities based on obviously what comes through the door with every single client.
Yeah. Well, my first question I always ask, sincere, how are you doing?
Yes, really good. I would say that the beginning of this year for me was super stressful, and it really tested, everything I put into practice and everything I tell clients, to kind of stay grounded with their anxiety and, and just mental well-being. So yes, I've noticed that since I'm over that particular thing, I definitely, my body just feels like, spacious and happy and whole again.
Yeah. Sense of relief,
great.
Probably. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
And you've told me before that in your early 20s, you've dealt with depression. And would you be willing to share a bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I went through an episode which, to me, it kind of sounded like it was coming out from absolutely nowhere. And really took me by surprise. Yes, you hear about it, but I think like with everyone, you kind of have an image of, how is it going to present itself, or at least I did. So that is not how I experienced it, which is why until someone pointed it out to me, I wasn't even aware that was, my case. Yeah. So it took me by surprise, and it certainly kind of made me question okay, then what is causing it? Which is why I ended up getting into the industry, because I didn't want to be on medications.
Yeah, and like you said, like we tend to have this certain idea or image or how a depressed person should look like or behave, and because it was different than what we know. Is that why you struggle to come to terms with it or identify it?
Yes, I think that's certainly the reason why I did not think that, I fitted the bill, right? Because I was fully functioning. I always imagined that, that's kind of when you are in that situation, it's like, okay, people are kind of, hiding under the cover and they're like absolutely unable to function. And that wasn't my case, so, which is what I said earlier on. That's why I didn't think that I fitted the bill.
Yeah. And what changed that for you?
Well, obviously, someone pointing it out to me, and then I'm beginning to really look into it, and I go, I fit all the other aspects of it. It's just not how I imagined that, it will present itself. And then I was like, right, okay, I need some help. And I guess it's that overwhelming, just feeling very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Helpless, and just really not knowing, okay, so if I have this problem, then how do I fix it? Yeah. And, probably most people, you go to the doctor and then you have a chat with them. And then, of course, the only thing they tend to offer is medication. And there was a voice inside my head that just went, no, absolutely no way. I am not doing that. I never believed in the sort of, treating the symptoms. And so I was like, okay, if that's the only thing you're willing to offer me, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm not even coming back. I'll figure it out myself. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I did.
Yeah, I have a similar journey like yours, where I went through depression and a phobia, and the doctors wanted to put me on like antidepressant pills or anxiety pills. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna do pills. Then you're gonna make it extra for me to, if I quit the pills, then what if I get addicted to it? And what if my body reacts in such a way that I have to take the pills in order to function? So I was like, no, I'm just going to listen to my body and say no to pills.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how did your healing journey start?
So I think, like with everything, the first and most important step was recognizing that I did have a problem which needed to be fixed. So that was definitely number one. And then secondly, making the decision that I don't just want to treat the symptom with some pills and ignoring what's actually causing it. So to me, it was the going inwards and the whole sort of self-discovery into what is wrong with me then, and then what needs addressing was then the next thing. And of course, that's always the trickiest thing, because, it's just natural. It's human nature, isn't it? That you just go, no, I'm fine. And everyone else is fine. And taking responsibility doesn't naturally come very, easy, I would say, for us. So that's basically where I started it. And then, like I said, when I went into the studying of the human body and health, I realized that it was definitely, which is what I see with clients, it's coming from multiple different angles. It's not just in your head, as the medicals, love to say, that, everything is always in your head, right? I realized that I needed to make lifestyle adjustments. I needed to make dietary adjustments. I needed to quit a job I was absolutely miserable in. And then, of course, I needed to fix a lot of childhood trauma, which some of it I knew that it was there. And I just assumed that, oh, well, we all have it. So what? I survived, And then, of course, as you're going through the whole discovery and healing process, then there are others popping up, which you're not even aware of, or at least I wasn't. So yes, it was a combination of all of those things.
Yeah, because like I said, my journey was similar to yours, and I always heard the phrase, "Oh, you are just really sensitive." I'm like, okay, it's not that easy. Okay, yes, I am sensitive. I'm even high sensitive, but that's not the reason why I have a phobia or why I'm depressed. Or it's a layer of emotions, of trauma, of beliefs, mindset work, body work. It's such a broad scala of things that are going on in your life. That is not just, oh, it's just this, or you're just sensitive, or you're just having a hard time right now, you'll be okay. It's but you have to go through a lot of layers to get to the core issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And is there like a favorite like technique that you have, or that you also share with your clients?
Yes, I would say, to me, the game changer was definitely when I got into the field of craniosacrotherapy, which is a form of energy work, because that was, when I was able to kind of open Pandora's box and start dealing with all those, childhood issues that, like I said earlier on, some of it I knew that it was there, and then some of it I didn't even realize that it actually impacted me that much. So then I was able to just kind of peel it, layer by layer, which is, again, how I do it with clients. It's a process, right? And you just need to be patient with yourself. But yes, I definitely, a firm believer that in my case, that was that was the modality that really, moved the needle. And I'm like, okay, I'm now getting somewhere, because I started feeling better in my body just by addressing lifestyle and diet, and started to exercise. Fantastic. But then I would be caught off guard, because things would keep coming up, it would trigger me. And then I would be like, I don't understand what the heck is happening. Why am I triggered suddenly? And then, of course, I guess I didn't even have the awareness to start paying attention. Like, is this a similar situation? So is the situation triggering me? Is it a particular person that triggering me because so yes, craniosacral was the one that created that awareness and taught me the tools to that. Okay, so then what do you do with it?
Yeah. And what do you advise others that are like at the start of their healing journey?
I mean, again, I believe, like I said earlier on, definitely self-awareness, huge key, and being able to want to do the work, loving yourself enough that you say, okay, it is important for me. I do need to fix myself, and understanding that no one will really be able to help you unless A, you want to be helped, and B, you're willing to put your share of the work into it. So yes, it's that sort of fine balance of wanting to heal, not wanting to rush it, and being open to whatever comes up. I will have the resources, whether that's with a professional person or whatever, to be able to get through it. Basically.
And being patient with yourself.
Hugely.
Very much so.
I remember a few years ago, I genuinely foolishly thought that, okay, I've got it all. I fixed it all. I'm absolutely fine. Exactly. And I'm like, I just felt so proud of myself. And then boom, out of the blue, I got triggered again. And I'm like, wow, what is happening here? And it was something I already worked on, which is why I was so surprised. And I'm like, okay, so there is another layer to it. Right. And again, it's that understanding and that acceptance, rather than being hard on myself, like, oh my God, I've done all this work and it's still not working. Then to say, it's fine. I am in a different place. It is nowhere near as bad. It's nowhere near as acute.
Don't see it as a failure.
Exactly. Yeah.
And like, I understand that healing is like a never-ending journey. Really, we heal all the time, every day, basically. And like, is there something that you still struggle with to this day?
Yes, I still get caught in a moment, for sure. But I learned to then just, take a step back and assess the situation. And first and foremost, I've got my own techniques, how to calm my nervous system down, like absolutely immediately. And then being aware of my inner child, so I don't get caught in the story, and giving her the reassurance, as well as staying in my adult self and go, okay, I can get out of this, and this is how I'm going to do it. So yes, I think it's learning particular techniques that works for the individual, that it allows the person to stay present and stay on top of, whatever comes up. And that definitely comes with practice and time, for sure.
Experience. You get better at like almost like reading yourself, like, okay, this is what causing this. And yeah, for sure. And how important do you think like mindset work, like belief work is in staying mentally healthy?
Huge. So you asked me earlier on which one was, to me, the type of modality that really made the biggest difference, and I said craniosacral therapy. NLP was definitely the second best thing in my life when I got introduced to it, because it allowed me to, again, understand how our brain works, how our patterning works, where do we pick up most of our, for the lack of a better word, issues. And then more importantly, how you can change that so you're not reliving your past. You always have the ability to change and therefore create a completely different future. So I'm a huge believer of NLP, and because it addresses the mindset, it addresses the beliefs and the values of every single individual. And I use it with every single client, no matter what they come in with, no matter what main modality they are interested in. I always, integrate NLP into it. And I don't think that they need to know it, but every single time, you know, when I use particular modalities, you can see the change on their face, like instantly.
Yeah.
When you rephrase something, you know, or you give them a different perspective, you know, and they're like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, there you are. Now you have options.
Yeah, exactly. Now your perspective broadens. Yeah. And for those who don't know, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
And what is something that you are most proud of?
About my journey, you mean?
Yeah.
I would say that I was willing to turn over rocks, to really find out, you know, I wasn't afraid of the ugly. I wasn't afraid of the temporary setbacks.
Right.
You know, I was so determined that it doesn't matter what it takes. I need to, and I want to be on the other side. Yeah.
Yeah, I recognize like there was a tipping point for me as well when I was struggling, that I was like, okay, suddenly you hit a point where you're like, I can't take anymore. I have to do the work now. And then everything shifted and changed. And then I actually wanted to do the work, because before I was too scared. And then it shifted, and that's when the awareness and like the motivation comes to change your situation.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you could talk to a younger version of yourself, what would you tell her?
Oh, well, I've done it many, many times. It's the constant reassurance that all the pain you have gone through was definitely worthwhile, because I'm still here. And then being absolutely grateful for all the pain my younger self endured, because it made me stronger. It made me the person I am. And I would never change it at all. No aspect of it I would ever want to change, because that would ultimately change who I am right now. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you're in the moment and you're struggling and dealing with the issues, you're like, oh, why is this happening to me? And you just want it to be over. And looking back, it's like, it actually was a gift, because I got to know myself on such a deeper level. And now with you as well, the work that you do helps others to get to their best self, basically. Yeah, absolutely. I would also say, you just touched on it exactly there. The second part of it is that you are interacting with humans on a completely different level, because you have a different understanding. You have learned compassion, and you see, dare I say again, for the lack of a better word, you see their issues, so you stop judging them. You know, you give them the space, and you give them the compassion, and you meet them where they are, rather than trying to force your belief, you know, and your way of looking at the world, and then constantly clashing with people. Yeah, exactly. It's such a lovely gift. In a very different way to people. You see their pain, or you see like, okay, if they react to you or respond to you in an angry way, that you see their hurt, not their angry personality. Or exactly. Yeah, you look beyond the front that they have on. Yes. You see the real person. Yeah, exactly. You can look beyond the layers almost. And you're like, okay, you meet people where they are a lot better than before, because before you were just carrying your own hurt and your own protective wall. And I would be agitated a lot more. And like no patience. I had no patience, because I had no patience with myself. Then why would I have it for others? So it's a lot different how you respond to people. Yeah. As well as you would be constantly triggered, which is definitely was my experience, right? And I just didn't understand it. And then now I might still be in a situation, you know, but I'm not being triggered, because I have the understanding, I have the awareness, and I have my little techniques to go, this is all fine, you know. And it's not my stuff, you know. Someone else brought something in which they need to deal with. I've done my part in it. Exactly. It's like you don't have to carry other people's problems anymore, because they're their problems. They need to solve it. I can help, I can assist, but I don't have to carry their problems with me anymore, because they're not mine to carry. That's right.
Yeah. So it's like you almost see it with like a broader perspective again.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't remember who came up with this quote, but it says something along the lines like, if you want to change the world, just change yourself.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I hugely appreciate that quote right now, you know, or I should say for years, because I totally understand what they meant.
Yeah.
You know,
exactly.
it's like just your ability not being able to clash with someone because you've done your inner work. How can it not change everything, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it's not just, you don't just, well, just change yourself, but it affects everyone around you.
Yeah.
And I even notice it with my own parents. And so I saw my mom was hurting over something without, going into the details, but because I did my own work, I could help her. And she was like, oh, she looked at the situation from a new perspective, and I could offer her that. And that's still one of the things I'm most proud of, because you see their hurt now instead of only your own.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a true gift.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And what is the best advice you were ever given?
Nothing is permanent.
Oh yeah. Not the good nor the bad.
Exactly. And again, I think it's human nature. We want to hold on to the good stuff, right? We never want it to change, and then we always want to wish the bad stuff away. And again, to me, this is where NLP became so groundbreaking, when you understand that really and truly it's us who put labels on what's good and what's bad. Nothing is good or bad. It's just, how you're relating to it. Your own interpretation makes it good or bad. It just shifts everything, so you really just take everything as is, right? And you go, you know what? I don't know whether it's going to last for 5 days, 5 months, or 5 minutes. Whatever it is, I'm appreciating it right now, and it doesn't matter what's going to happen in the next moment.
And it's also, to me, like when you live like that, you tend to not take your own like negative thoughts or negative self-talk. You don't take it as seriously, because okay, these are also just waves that roll by, or like clouds that they pass. It's a passing thing. So and you appreciate the good things more if you know, okay, this also won't last forever. I'm gonna honor this moment now, and who knows how long it will last. Yeah,
Absolutely.
And my final question is always, when are you at your happiest?
One of my happiest moments is always working with clients. I go in with every single session, with every single client, like just so very appreciative, that they trusting me to help them one way or another. So that always makes me super happy that I'm able to make a difference in someone else's life. Just like people who helped me, and now I know where I am, based on where I was 20 odd years ago, and it's a completely different person. And I'm just so excited to know with every single client that, okay, we're starting here, but I know that you're going to be here. It doesn't matter how long it will take. I know you're going to get here. There's absolutely no reason why you shouldn't. So that's definitely one of my happiest moments. Another happy moment is anytime I'm outside in nature. I feel super grounded in nature, and I'm lucky enough to marry someone who's really one of my bestest friends. So just spending time with him and, just really be able to be yourself, whether that's, we just want to be silly, we just want to be quiet, we just want to have a serious conversation, whatever it is. I just thoroughly enjoy being around him.
Yeah. Thank you so much for this wonderful talk, Regina. It's very inspiring. Pleasure. I hope everyone who watches will be inspired by your words. So thank you so much.
Absolute pleasure.